about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see.
Chapter 5. Get anyone to see you as pure gold. Number 1 rule of selling yourself in every area of life. Here is one of the greatest truths in life. If you don't place a value on yourself, somebody else will. How do you get the best deal, the finest advantage, or the greatest edge in anything? Here's how. Ask for the moon and settle for the stars. In the previous chapter, we talked about gaining leverage in relationships. But when you're in a relationship of any sort, you want to invoke the power of this law to give you the ultimate edge. Almost everything in life is subjective. This means that there is no absolute truth, and opinions tend to become facts in most new situations. All other information is then filtered through this new belief structure. If you want to give yourself, or anything for that matter, instant worth, you need to create the right image. In negotiations, start off very high, even if it's a little unreasonable. This is important because you will have set the tone. Bear in mind, you also don't want to be ridiculously high because you want to be taken seriously. Whenever you are dealing with someone or something of unknown value, the first one who places a value on it establishes its worth. To be clear, when we speak of the value of a person, we mean the perceived value to others, not, of course, the individual's value as a human being. Therefore, value is an unknown quantity whose perception can be altered with the application of 2 specific psychological principles. Whenever you're dealing with an intangible, establish its worth where you want it. And as long as there is no established value, you will not be seen as unreasonable. Let's say you're an amateur photographer. You take pictures as a hobby, and someone wants to hire you as a freelancer. How much do you charge? Well, some photographers charge as much as $10,000 a day. Are you in their league? Probably not. But if you charge $100 a day, clearly you will not be perceived as one of the best. Will you be laughed at if you say your fee is $3,000 for the day? Not likely. Even if you think they can't afford to pay you that much, you're now negotiating from a very high starting point, one that you've established. In the end, you can charge them much less and they will be elated because they are not getting a $500 a day photographer. No, they're getting a $3,000 a day photographer for a mere $500. Let's take a look at how this law affects us in our daily life. Let's say that you're shopping and you notice a jacket that you think is reasonably priced at $69. You think, okay, not too bad. Then you realize it's $690. Suddenly, your opinion of the jacket changes dramatically. You begin to realize that what you thought was fair quality is really exquisite tailoring, and you notice every little detail and can now see how it could be so expensive. At $690, you might not buy it. But if it went on sale the next week for $129, you just might snatch it up. Why? Because of its perceived value. Now, there is one other factor other than price that helps to establish value. The other criterion that determines worth is how available something is. Simply, the scarcer something is, the greater the value people place on it. Gold, oil, and diamonds are much more valuable than water and air because they are not as plentiful. Even though water and air are indispensable to our survival, it's gold and precious jewels that we value. Until, of course, you're without water for a day. Then its scarcity makes it more valuable than a king's ransom. So how do you establish your worth in personal relationships? You can make yourself more valuable by not being so available. Sex? Give it freely initially, and little value is placed on it, and on you. This is as true for men as it is for women. At work, your time? If you're sitting by the water cooler all day, how do you think you'll be perceived by your boss and coworkers? Will you be judged as valuable? or a dime a dozen. Strategy review. Price and availability are the most dominant psychological factors that determine the value of just about anything or any person. Manipulating these two factors will dramatically increase or decrease how valuable and worthy we think someone or something is.